everybody, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I'm going to make a sympathy card. Not kind of the traditional one that says I'm sorry for your loss or with sympathy, that kind of thing. Those are great cards as well. This one's a little more personal, so I'm sending hugs, and then on the inside it says, "My heart is tied to yours, tug if you need anything." So for me, this is just a little bit more personal. The thing is, with sympathy cards, you don't normally know ahead of time that you're going to need them. So I wanted it to be something pretty simple. I found this delicious paper, and it comes in Design Daydream, which has got 48 sheets of paper. It's so cool. It comes as a Stampin' Reward, so you have to have a party of at least $150 worth before shipping and taxing, and then you can choose this as one of your rewards. I found it on the last page. I was almost done flipping and had actually chosen a flower one, which is another typical sympathy one. But on the back, these are like birds flying off into the sky, like doves. They're not doves, but I just felt like it was really just perfect for what I needed. So that's the background, and I love this particular, gosh, my brain just died. Soft succulent. It's one of my favorite colors, and I yet couldn't come up with it. But anyway, so I started off with the trick I've had in many of my videos. If you haven't seen this before, you need to go out and find some of them. Any of the time I use my Stamparatus, and I want to stamp on something, I want to make sure first it's straight. So I use scrap paper. This is just our background paper. Once it gets like this, I really should have put a new one on, but I didn't want to. I was in a hurry. I just cut it up into pieces, and as you can see, I stamp in all kinds of places trying to figure out, first of all, is this straight and is it where I want it? So I know it's straight, so I can get rid of this piece of paper. And then I knew it might be tricky stamping on this. This is, what's it called? Brushed. It's not brushed. It is brushed, but that's not the name. Shoot, I don't, oh yeah, I do. Hang on. Brush stroke specialty paper, and it actually comes with 3 colors. It's really pretty. There's a bit of a sheen, not really a sparkle, and it came in soft succulent. I would imagine, sometimes they just say pink, and this is probably close to Night of Navy, although sometimes, again, like I said, they just say navy, because they don't feel like it matches perfectly. Anyway, so I'm going to put this in here, and I am going to lock it down because I'm going to repeat stamp. I know that ahead of time. One, because I've already done it, but also with this slick paper, I know that it's going to be a while for it to dry. Also, I want it dark enough to see. So actually that's for the inside. I also have it here. Hang on. I love that I can do 2 sides at once. Just making sure that it's in with enough room to cut with this. And I'm just kind of making sure. Yeah, I had already gotten it ready yesterday, but I forgot. So anyway, we're ready to go. This is the tuxedo black. And I don't want to make it crazy dark the first, time or two. I want to make sure. And it's almost good enough, but it's just not quite good enough for me. It's I want it darker. I like my sentiments to actually stand out. So that's perfect. So now the thing is, it's wet. And even though this dries quickly, it doesn't sink in on the paper. So perfect time for me to just put that aside. I can't remember if I showed you the card or not. I think I did. Anyway, here it is. Yeah, I did. I'm losing my mind, I swear. This is kind of an upsetting thing that I have to do. So it's kind of rocked my boat a little. So this, you can either put it on a straight piece of paper, or you can actually stick this in, you know, with it folded back so that it's in there. But I like to have another sheet of paper to make it, you know, have some depth. Also because I'm putting several layers on the front, putting a layer in the back just kind of makes it heavier to match the front. So I'm going to go ahead and use a sheet of paper. I'll have all the measurements on my blog. But essentially it's like the first layer. So this would be 4 this way by 5 1/4. Now this doesn't require time to dry, but I am going to set it aside because I'm not working with that one right now. And then I'm going to put this whole thing away. Get it out of where I don't need it. And we get rid of ink because I stick my fingers in it all the time. So as you can see, then the next layer, so we have an 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5, folded in half. It's a top folding card. The next layer is the same as that inside layer I talked about, which is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'll go ahead and get this on there. This is all giving, I knew I shouldn't have done this, but I'm going to need a pin in it because I had it out for too long. Yeah. This is always a good trick, you know, if your bottle's not flowing right. Just stick something in there and wiggle it around. It'll come out. I will clean that up later. At a time more convenient for me. And yeah, I did blob out the first time, but that's okay. I had left it out without tying it in. I just got all kinds of things to tell you today. I'm going to show you when you start getting hair, little levels of pieces of hair sticking out, means it's time to change your blade, which I had not done. And so the cure to that is to take an implement. I use this quite a bit. Just kind of curl it underneath so it doesn't show. If I had noticed it beforehand, before gluing it down. Let's see, this one's got a little bit of hair. I really should have cut my blade or changed my blade. What you do is use, I don't know where my regular one is. I have a square block. It's missing in action, but you can use a nail file. And basically, I just run it along there. It's kind of puts it underneath, and then you can shave on the back to make sure that it's actually off. And I really do need to change my blade because I am hairy everywhere. So this is a good learning situation. Sometimes just doing this is enough, but sometimes it's not quite gone, so you kind of have to do it in the background. There we go. We got it all taken care of now. And I'm sure just as soon as I put this away, my little block will show up, but I don't know where it is right now. Anyway, then you have to get rid of all of the feeling of it being stuck and sandy, because it is sandy. I'm going to put this on next. Make sure you have the birds going in the right direction if you choose to use the same paper or any other directional paper. Mine were upside down. Oops, before I do that, I wanted to put some ribbon on it. So I'm going to slide. Let's see, I'll make sure the birds are in the right area. I'm going to take some tape. It's the easiest way. And tape one side down. And then make sure it's straight. It's much easier if you do this before you put the glue on. Make sure that's straight. Lovely. Now I'm going to put, oops, make it flat, put some more glue on it. in those areas I covered up. Now I'll put this on here. And I have glue all over me. So my fingers are sticking. Love liquid glue. You have time to move it. Let's see, I'm going to spray my fingers with some of our good smelling stamp cleaner. When in a pinch, I'll go ahead and clean off my pen. I always have a pen here. I use my pen for all kinds of things. You can't see this, but I have a spinny little working thing that holds all my stuff. Now I'll try to get all of the stuff off. Then I put a circle. The circle came from, this one, which is All That, Dies It Goes with He's All That. One of our suites that has a lot of the masculine things. I showed a Father's Day card 1 or 2 posts ago that used the die cuts that are already made. I call them punch outs, 2 sheets worth of stuff. I didn't even have to use these dies for that, but I am using the circle die. So we're gonna put this in. Actually, I used my mini and just ran it through. And with the magic of video, I gotta take the tape off, but I already have it cut. So that's cool. And it also like embosses a nice circle around, as well as making it a little bit of a, so that's gonna go there. And then by now, checking, yeah, this is all clear now, it's dried. So then I used a different die set to get the Sentiment natural prints. And that's right here. Now, I did not use magic, so I'm going to have to show you. I actually have to cut this out. I'm going to use the same sticky note. One thing that's funny, this does not dry quickly, so it happened with this, but it could happen with other things as well. Bring this on here, and I try to keep it off my paper because it doesn't grip well. It slides. You can get on the back of this tape, I got some black ink. So I started transferring it to the things I was cutting out. And I couldn't, it took me a bit to figure it out. Some days I'm slower than others. But I do like the mini. It takes very little space. It closes up. Look how sweet that is. I just put that there. Here is my Sentiment, which I have to peel this off. Yeah, there is a little bit of transfer of still, even though it was fairly dry. So I'll have to be careful when I use that piece. And then the other thing I cut out were some sprigs, which was also part of Natural Prints, these 2 things. And I actually taped them together and laid them down and got a bunch of them cut out, and we'll decide how many I want at this point. So we're going to start with our base circle. That's going to go up on dimensionals so I can tuck things behind it. So we'll take out some, I'm up to using the very ends of my dimensionals. I'll have to get another pack out. And then the other thing, another little trick that just happened because it happened today. Don't throw this out. All of this stuff works. I just usually cut them different lengths, and then I can pick and choose. Cut that one off, and since it came off, I'll use this. It works really nice along the length of a straight edge when you put these straight edges down. But these are perfectly good. There's no reason to get rid of them. I'll take these off. Now the question is, where do I want to put these? I ended up putting some behind and then one behind the sentiment. I don't know that that's necessary. I think, you know, I'm going to be making multiples. Of course, I never make one because I don't want to have to come up with these. And sending hugs and my heart is tied to yours doesn't have to be for a sympathy card. You can make it for something else. What I'm trying to figure out is, do I want them stuck? I can use them partially stuck too. Trying to make them a little bit different lengths and not be symmetrical. I think on that one even cut one or two to make it so it's not. And then maybe a couple on the bottom. They're very thin and delicate. Oops. And then we'll put one. You know, you want odd numbers. Now, I've basically covered up a lot of the glue that's going to be holding them down. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and add just another couple of these longer lines because I covered up a lot of the sticky stuff. I want a small one. I'll do it that here. Just so that it's still pretty sticky, but I think I'm going to do it, let's see, this way, no, yeah, this way. All right, so we'll put this down here. And I didn't quite center it on purpose. You can center it if you want, but I figured I could just use it a little off center. This I will center on the circle though. And you can do that with using your bottom picky points to get them where you want them. And then this technically is done. I've already stamped the card that's going in, the card part that's going inside. So we'll do that and put it in there. And it's white on white, but it does give it, like I said, a little strength. I'm using basic white thick, which is plenty thick enough. But because I had so many layers on the front, I kind of wanted to balance out. Now, as you know, if you know me, and if you don't, I will now explain to you that I give cards away as gifts. For Christmas, I usually give about 30 to 40 cards to my relatives, and I'm trying to grab for envelopes, and I keep them in a space all year, which I'm gonna do a short video of what I got in my craft room, more so just to show you some of the things I do for space saving, etc. Oops, too small. That's the wrong pile. But anyway, what I do is, because people thumb through cards often, I basically put an envelope with this, and I put them in these clear envelopes, which Stampin' Up! Sells, but I don't use the ones Stampin' Up! Has. Oops, you gotta be careful when you have floating leaves. I just kind of got messed up. Not messed up, but pushed. All right. This may require, there's a trick that you can do when you're trying to get things inside other things. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that trick, which basically is using something to keep these flat and in place until you put them inside. I'm just telling you all kinds of tricks today. Put it inside, and then you can remove. And you can remove this, and voila, they're all nice and flat where they belong. And there's already an envelope in there. And then if I am going to store it, I stamp on these which if you email me and ask me for these, I will give them to you. They're Word documents I created. That's not the one. And I have all kinds of sizes. There's actually 4 sheets. It's in 2 different documents, all kinds of different sizes. And I just cut them up. If you sell your cards, it would be another good reason to do this, but it just says inside. And then what I do is shoot this down the back so that people don't have to open the envelope to know what's inside. And if it turns sideways, nobody cares. The reason I don't use the Stampin' Up! Envelopes is because they have the glue or the adhesive on the flap, which is fine if you're using it for an envelope. But mine get open repeatedly, so now there's no protection on the adhesive, and if the glue is up here, when I pull out my envelope and my card, it'll stick on this. This way it does not. So there you have it. I'm going to put this away. I used Eden's Garden for the Sending Hugs, My Heart is Tied to Yours. I used dies from 2 different sets, and of course you don't have to do that. You could put just the Sending Hugs and that would be fine, and you could just cut it as a strip with tags on either end. But I used all that and natural prints to get these 2 die cuts out. And again, I will link, these envelopes come from Clear Bags. They're very inexpensive. I'm talking like 2 cents, I think, or 3 cents maybe. Even if you only just buy 100, and I think those cost $5 or something. It's a very small amount. And so worth it, because if you do keep them, you know, you can be flipping through cards and not damaging them, especially if you sell them or if you give them away as gifts. If there's just a few, that's fine, but if there's a lot of them, it makes a problem. I hope you enjoyed this short tutorial with some issues I had that I corrected, so you know that we're not perfect and we do have problems too, and how maybe to correct them when you do. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much. Bye.